Coach, this year. This is the last year of the 14 playoff. In the future, it's going to look like this. It's going to be a 12-team playoff. Here's what it would look like if it was 12 teams this year.
Well, the great thing I see here, especially this was the year of parity. You look at this right now. The top 8 teams can win a national title. If next year they get that opportunity. But you look at number 8, Oregon. Are they talented enough to win a national? I've seen them. I've watched them. Absolutely they could. Number 7, Ohio State. Sure they could. They lost 1 game on the road in Ann Arbor. You look at number 6, Georgia. Are you kidding me? To say they went from number 1 team in the country to number 6 with 1 loss, a close loss to Alabama. And then number 5, if Jordan Travis doesn't get hurt, the quarterback of Florida State, they'd probably be in the top 4. So there's so many positive things about a 12-team playoff. The fans wanted it, the fans got it. And it's the right thing to do. The parity that we want to keep, we hope to keep in college football, I don't think you'll ever get 12 teams that can win it. The number 12 team, maybe there will be. I don't think that'll happen.
But they'll play for it.
Sure.
Think of the thrill of playing for it.
And what's great is everybody thinks the arguments are going to go away. You imagine the street fight they're going to have for that 12th spot?
Yeah, right.
I mean, the media and the fans, just like they had for the top 4 spot this year. And then the other residual, a positive residual of the 12 team, is the bowl games and the playoffs. Now the great players in this game will all play. For example, Ohio State's going to the Cotton Bowl. Georgia's going, I believe, to the Orange Bowl.
Right.
Reality is, in the next few days, maybe the next week or so, you're going to hear about players doing what? Opting out.
Opting out. Right.
It happened to me. The first time a player opted out to me was in the Cotton Bowl, and I was like, what does that mean? I had to have an interpreter, what does that mean you're not playing?
Right.
But I got it. I understand, and you're talking about NFL careers, so the Marvin Harrisons of the world would play. I'm not sure he'll play I don't know that. But I can promise you if they still had a swing for the national championship, they're all playing.
You mentioned the 12th spot. The one criticism I have of this setup is if a group of 5 team is not ranked in the first 12, they still get that 12th spot, which means that a Power 5 team that would be ranked 12th will now be ranked 13th and does not have an opportunity to win a national championship. The only other thing about this reorganization, I hope they expand the committee.
Right.
As critical as I've been about the committee, I just think that at a certain point in the season right now, the committee's not paying attention to, say, 10 and on. They list them through 25. 1 through 25, they give us 1 through 25, but how much time are they spending on 12 to 25? Now, they've got to spend some time on a lot more teams. I think that means committees should expand, and maybe they'll bring in more people that'll make a decision by watching the video.
I think expand or reorg and put new criteria, and you have to. That's too much of a job for 3 coaches in there to watch all that film and continue. I do agree with, and you mentioned this earlier, to have people, non-coaches on there as well.
Right.
So you have a little bit of
Different
checks and balances. But when they say, okay, tell me between Oregon and Georgia, tell me about the offensive line. There's only 3 people in that room can tell you that.
Right.
And that's because they, what I would say, I'll be back to you. I'd go watch 4 or 5 hours of film. I'd come back and list my offensive lines. That's the same way. And I was an expert to be able to do that.
How long do you think it would take someone that's an expert at watching tape to watch a game?
I'd say 3 to 4 hours if you're really watching it. Really watching it. A lot of times, though, I think it's even a little bit less because I don't know if you need to watch a whole game. But if you really dig in for a half and you want to start ranking offensive, defensive lines, et cetera, you're going to have to dig into it.
And once you learn a team kind of early in the season, you just confirm it, so it takes you a little bit less time. But the other thing about the committee, all the people on the committee are pretty accomplished people, otherwise they wouldn't be on a committee, which means when they leave and go home, they're probably pretty busy. And I'm not sure they have 3 hours to watch a game. Coach, you make a lot of really good points about the 12-team playoff. Really looking forward to see it next year.
Me too.